All right.
You got to have fun in this industry.
Here we go.
You do.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Chad GTM Podcast. It's Michael Beck and Chad Horn reporting to you live at the tail end of day 2 at the Martech show 2026 in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the beautiful Las Vegas. Oh, no, Caesar's Palace Hotel and Casino. Yeah, I went way down the rabbit hole there. But what I am not down the rabbit hole on, and we're going to learn a lot about right now, is Miss Nichole Robillard, who is a CMO of Amazing Power that operates in the hospitality industry. Ooh, yeah.
A lot to live up to.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, you came out of some really impressive companies, right? You did the Lobby, the Red Lobby,
Red
right?
Lobster,
Yeah.
Smoky Bones before that, both former Darden brands.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Fantastic.
the space, yeah.
Fantastic. You were a denizen of Boca, and you spent a little time up in Orlando area. And we're going to find out all kinds of other good stuff. So, first off, welcome to the show. How you doing?
I am good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for
Such a pleasure and an honor.
This honors all ours 100%.
You're the first person to ever say that.
Yeah, absolutely. I paid her $50 before we got on here to make this happen. No. Well, Nichole, thank you so much. We've had like 2 days of a lot of fun, right? Today we saw one of the top AI people talking on stage. She was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. We saw Ram Krupp receive a Lifetime Achievement Award. How long have you been coming to the Martech event?
This is my first Martech.
Oh my God.
This guy talked me into it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And
Chad.
Tammy helped,
And
right?
Tammy Billings. Yes, Tammy Billings, the great connector. But
What
yeah.
up, T-Bill? So since this is with fresh eyes, give me your lens on the event.
You know, I typically go to a lot of conferences, but
Yeah.
I typically go to the marketing ones,
Yeah.
right? I'm very focused on marketing and restaurant marketing. But in the last few months, I've been really delving into AI, and I know Martech pretty well, but understanding restaurant tech and the intersection and how everything's working together and getting to know, find people like you guys. And it's just been really interesting to see how everything is evolving and to really be on the operator side and to try to demystify and understand like what's right for me. What do I need? Do these things do what they say they can do?
Yeah.
And so I think coming here and just getting a bird's eye view really of what the evolutions are, who are the players in the space, you know, who's kind of taking new seats and kicking people out. So it's been really interesting. It's the first conference I think in a long time I've actually gone to sessions.
Cool.
Usually I'm just, you know, kind of
Yep, I'm gonna
networking
go
and
catch up on
dealing
work
with
now.
work. Yeah.
Wow. Chad?
So, since you are coming from a marketing background and this is technology, what leaps out at you from a tech standpoint that marketers need to embrace?
And I think that there are a lot of things in the tech space that marketers are embracing already. I
Whether
think
it's tech or ideas or just ways of thinking.
I think that technology is really enhancing our ability to be efficient and to be smarter. But I think that there's still this layer of humanity that needs to be added to the technology. So I'm more interested in how can AI automation make us, you know, faster, more productive, so that we can focus more of our energy on the things that are the differentiators, right? So let's use AI and technology for the table stakes, but then use the levers that are within our control and put our attention and energy into those things that are really able to be differentiators. So
Absolutely.
like brand, you know, the role of brand I think is becoming really, really important.
So with that in mind, the thing I learned over the last couple of years is CMOs and marketers aren't necessarily the creatives. You're really data geeks. No, not. Well, my whole thought was it's always about the pitch deck and the illustrations,
Yeah.
and that's not it. It's part of it, but understanding data and how that impacts people seems to be a big part of your role. But understanding now that in the hands of non-creatives, we have things like AI, or we're grist milling out content nonstop, right? And images are easy to make. How do you take that and say, hey, let's slow down and let's actually develop something that's going to land and resonate with people? Not that your Chat GPT said this is a really good idea. How are you ideating with your teams and the people that you are marketing with and that marriage of market and creative? How's that work now?
I mean, I think we're fortunate to be in the restaurant industry, which is one of the last truly emotional consumer businesses. So, and I talk about like the role of brand being so important. There is this element of, you know, that as a differentiator and that as a driver that we still really need to focus on. And I think as we think about content, we think about marketing calendars, you know, you really have to find ways to differentiate the brand and to create a sort of separation and what does your brand stand for in the minds of your consumers. And you do that through storytelling, through showing up in culture, you know, through menu innovation and menu relevance, things like that. And I think those are the things that are really kind of influencing the way we develop or the way that we use AI and harness, I think it's an enabler. It's not the thing.
It shouldn't replace.
No,
talent.
AI's not going to replace anybody. People know how to use AI are going to replace people who don't.
Yeah, I always felt that with AI, yes, a creative is always going to outpace somebody that just is dabbling. It's like if you went to Juilliard and you studied violin, somebody that picked up an AI tool, they could Suno it out. It's not going to be the same effect.
No.
Right?
Case in point of what you've already shared, we had Leon DeVoyan of Dave's Hot Chicken on earlier, and he shared an experience where they were using voice AI at the drive-thru, and it did drive.
It nailed it.
It nailed it from an operations perspective, but guests still had an issue with it because they just felt AI. Now that's where I think a brand marketer could come in with the technology team and say, "Hey, how do we translate our brand into that guest experience?" And I bet if they did that, they would have had a very different outcome.
Well, voice AI, that's just another marketing channel, another marketing touch point. So you kind of have to look at it the same way that you would a campaign, right? You cast it, you make sure that it's speaking in the brand voice. You have to make sure that experience is consistent with any other way you would be touching the consumer or the guest so that they feel like it makes sense within the ecosystem.
Absolutely. With the work you've been doing, and you're on brand side, you're on the tech side a little bit now too. What's changed so much in the last 5 years? Feels like it's been the most pivotal shift in the industries. My audio cut off. Sorry. Yes. Sorry. But what's been the biggest shift you've seen, or you noticed, recognized?
I mean, I think the personalization, the ability to really get customized with your communications and get one-to-one and really leverage the consumer behavior to create a relationship with them that is beneficial to both, right? Like we've had this data for a long time, but not really known how to harness it. And that's the wonderful thing that I'm seeing right now is the ability to create meaningful relationships with your guests. And it's dynamic. It's changing too, right? So it's not about creating cohorts. It's about really understanding the drivers and the things that motivate your guests and getting onto a level with them where they actually feel like you're engaging with them in a way that is meaningful and that actually like reflects the way they want to use your brand.
And from the side of marketing and messaging, is email something that's still a vital component, or is there so much noise?
I mean, there's noise, but it's email is one of the channels or one of the components, I think, of the ecosystem. I think it really depends on how the guest wants to engage with you. It might be email. They might like email. They might like push notifications. They might like text. It really depends on allowing. I mean, I think the brands that are winning are the ones that are allowing the guests to pick their mode of communication with you and engagement with you.
Not jamming down the throat.
Yes. So there's always going to be a role for it. But again, it has to be a one-to-one. It can't just be, a batch and blast where everybody's getting the same messaging and then it doesn't really resonate. That gets lost in the noise.
Right.
So I think we're at a spot in history where you can actually do one-to-one guest marketing because of the data available and the channels available to have that level of personalization without it being creepy. What is the key to not being creepy when you are doing one-to-one?
Well, where's the line?
It comes down to the benefit for the guest. The guest has to see something in it that is meaningful for them. So it doesn't feel like Big Brother. It can't just be, thank you for coming in yesterday. There has to be something that you're learning and taking from the interaction with them so that it's sharpening your ability to understand how they want to relate to you and interact with you. So if you can do it in a way that it feels like, okay, I see that you order chocolate cake every Saturday when you come in, but you never come on a Tuesday. I'm going to use that chocolate cake as a motivator to get you in on a Tuesday. I'm like, I see what you did there, but I like it. I think there's always, obviously we know we're being marketed to as consumers or as guests of these restaurants. But the ones that do it in a seamless way where it feels like that's enhancing my engagement, my relationship with you versus you're invading my space now. Those are the ones that are good.
When you're watching other brands out there doing things, who do you admire in the marketplace who's doing some cool stuff now?
Gosh.
All right, if you're allowed to say that.
I think like obviously in the casual dining space, there's brands that are doing awesome work. I think you pay attention to Chili's. Everybody's paying attention to Chili's. Chili's is winning so much on their ability to really understand the consumer need for value.
Yeah.
Texas Roadhouse is like winning on such a operational level. They've cultivated that brand So I think there's some studies, some lessons to be learned by studying both of those brands.
I went to Texas Roadhouse for the very first time a couple of weeks ago. I got invited to meet somebody there, and there was a line out the door, and I had no idea. I'm like,
4
what is
p.m.
going on?
4 p.m. They got that wait list going. It's insane. It's crazy. And they're not even really leveraging marketing. Imagine if they turned that lever on.
And that's just operational excellence.
Yeah, they got it cracked. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So when do you know if it's time to really just focus on the operational excellence and just like running the business well, so that word of mouth that carries the weight of the marketing versus dialing up, other mechanisms.
Operations is marketing and marketing is operations. You cannot, I did a ANA speech where I said, you can't spell marketing without operations. It is absolutely your frontline marketing. The experience that your guest has in the restaurant is absolutely as important as anything that you tell, actually more so than anything you tell them externally. Because if I'm giving a promise as the marketer of what the experience with the brand is going to be, and we can't live up to it inside the four walls, it doesn't matter what I say, and so that's, I think, where a lot of restaurants in particular and experiences break down, is when what you're trying to deliver doesn't come through. So, I've had a lot of experience. I always partner really tightly with the operations team. I think that's really, got to be in lockstep with ops. I never put anything out in marketing that the ops team hasn't completely bought off on. And we haven't pressure tested to make sure that they can get behind it and get excited about it, so that just make sure that connection stays strong between what we say and what we do.
So you are also a prominent figure in Tony Renane's new The C Society.
Yes.
The C Society.
So please tell us what that organization does for those who don't know already, and what you're doing within the org.
I don't know how anybody doesn't know. C Society is an awesome collective of fractional C-level workers that are focused on the restaurant industry. We just launched officially last month. Very excited to be a part of it. I call myself one of the founding team members. So we are specifically focused on the restaurant industry. I think it's such a pivotal moment in the restaurant space right now, especially for C-level leaders. A lot of brands, especially smaller organizations or early stage in their growth, can't necessarily justify having full-time C-level workers in some of these disciplines. But they do need that level of strategy and thinking, and they need access to the talent. And so what C Society does is make this caliber of talent available on a fractional basis or contract basis, either for a percentage of time, smaller percentage of time, or for specific engagements. And it makes it easier to justify to boards, or, to help with kind of your overall P&L. So I think it's just such a great time to be, there's so much activity in fractional right now, but this is the first organization that's really just focused on the restaurant industry and has such a collection of really smart, talented leaders. I'm so excited to be a part of it.
It really does feel like a collective. Looking at from what I'm seeing, and we have a number of our friends that are participating in it too. And it seems like that it's not just one element. I'm talking to society about marketing potentially, but there's other things that come up that will say, well, we have this answered through other people inside of our collective. Tell me how that works.
Well, I think the really interesting thing about the C Society is we try to solve problems for brands, right? So it's not just, I need a marketer. It's what is the business challenge that you're trying to tackle? And then who's within our sort of repertoire that would be the best people to deploy in order to tackle that? And you might think you need a digital marketer, but it's actually a technology problem that you have. So I think that's what's really unique, is that we do have the people that can diagnose the challenge. And because of the group that we've assembled, we've got people across all disciplines. It's marketing, it's operations, it's legal, it's supply chain. We've got culinary. We have basically everything that you need. You could basically not have an executive team at all and engage the C Society, and we can put together the bones that you need to run a successful restaurant. So.
And is that executed initially by, I imagine, some kind of discovery, saying, here, what are we working with right now?
Yeah, so Tony, our founder, she's amazing. Yeah. She's fractional CEO and sort of the growth driver. And so what would happen is, if a brand reaches out, she'll go in, kind of diagnose, meet with the team, and try to understand what is the challenge that we're really trying to solve, and then go back and say, all right, who do we have in the arsenal really that would be the right people to deploy or to bring into this client relationship? And then it could grow over time. And the beautiful thing is that we have the ability to flex, so we can scale up or down depending on what the needs are at any given point.
How deep's the bench now?
40, 50 people.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. That is a collective. Wow.
It is definitely collective, and there's a waiting list.
Oh, get in line.
So what kind of problems are you as a marketing leader most excited to solve? over the coming year or two.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I am a brand marketer at heart, and I absolutely love it. And that's why I'm so excited about, kind of being able to lean back into brand. I think we've spent a few years of it not being as important. But I'm super into loyalty, and loyalty as an outcome, not necessarily you don't just have a loyalty program. It's not a rewards program, right? It's a way of deepening your engagement with your guests.
Right.
So I think that the ability to kind of really lean into data and personalization, there's so many AI tools now that are taking your data and really helping you create these relationships with guests. I think that's the area that I'm the most excited about. But there are just so many things, and I'm not really necessarily a traditional marketer because I came up I started in the agency side. I spent 20 years on the agency side. So I know ad tech. I know all of that really well. I spent the last 5 years on the brand side. I opened my own restaurant several years ago. So I've kind of sat on all of the seats. And I just think it's just such an incredible time where we're really able to understand what's motivating our guests. What do we need to do to create more of a relationship with them and to make that emotional connection stronger than it's ever been before? And so I'm really excited because I think all of these tools are just helping us be smarter and sharper. And I think, with Fractional, with AI, all this stuff is going to maybe shrink marketing teams a little bit, but it's going to make us smarter and sharper.
What do you geek out on? What's like, what do you tinker with? What's the fun stuff
Well,
for you?
I'm playing with all the AI tools.
Yeah.
I've been really digging down can I say names?
Sure.
I've been in a perplexity hole lately because I really love AI as a research tool.
Yeah.
And I think that that's an area. I think we're going to be able to be building out entire research practices using AI and not spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on first party or syndicated research. Yep. So I've been spending a lot of time in that lately. That's really exciting me. And then
built a digital twin. Have you gone down that road of giving it the way you talk, right?
Oh,
that fun stuff.
Absolutely. I've loaded in content that I've written. I've loaded in, all of my sort of, little quirks. And I do like M dashes, but I don't want it to give me back something that looks like it's written by AI with M dashes. Right. I know this is the death of the M dash because of AI. But yeah, you train it. It's just like any other tool in research. And you just make sure that it's constantly getting smarter, like we're constantly getting smarter.
We hope so.
Sometimes.
Chad, take us home. We're coming close to landing the plane.
We're at the end here, but there's still more Martech ahead. And actually, day 3 is the AI day. So is there a speaker? Is there a session you're most excited to hear?
No, I mean, like I said, this is the first conference that I've actually been excited about all of the sessions. So I'm really excited for the content that they put together tomorrow. I think there's so much useful and usable content that I've literally taken notes. I'm using up pages and pages. I think it's going to be a great day. I think it's going to be my favorite day of the entire conference.
For the summit?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Tammy plugged, but yeah.
Way to go, Tammy. Well, we had Mr. Lukinoff on yesterday as well, and so we're excited to see what comes out of tomorrow. And Nichole, thank you for so much for spending time with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
We've been going nonstop. I'm literally tripping over my words today, but I am so excited by what C Society is doing. And I had no idea that this thing was out there forming, growing. And all of a sudden you're aware of this new word, just like in marketing, right? Yeah. You're aware and now it's everywhere. Yeah. You guys are doing it great. If people want to talk to you about the C Society or want to meet you at the next show, what's the best way to engage with you or where to run into you? I'm super active on LinkedIn. If you direct message me, if you send me a note with a reason of why you want to connect, I will absolutely engage. That's my rule. If somebody takes the time to send a note. Okay. But I'm pretty visible and pretty reachable. So. Fantastic. Well, Chad, we good?
We're good.
All right, let's land this plane. Everybody, thank you so much for spending the time with us and with Nichole and listening about C Society and all the fun stuff we're doing here at Martech. We'll be coming to you later with a little bit more content, but for today, I think this might actually be it. But for now, thank you guys so much for being part of our audience, letting me be part of your community. And as always, brand acts of kindness, sprinkle that stuff everywhere. Know whose day you're going to make better, just like Nichole made our day better for being here with us. We'll see you guys later and take care. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.